It's become a very big piece of um, agriculture, even though we don't, as large commercial producers, it's very different. And the perspective has become very different over the years as well.
Welcome to the another episode of Poultry Nutrition Blackbelt. I'm our host, Dr. Pratima Adhikari from Mississippi State University, and today we have a new guest in our episode. As usual, we're trying to get our latest and greatest research and learning about a little bit on the nutrition side and also production side. So today we have Dr. Bonnie Walters from University of Wisconsin River Falls. She's a professor of animal and food science at the university. Dr. Walters, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
We are very glad to have you. Dr. Walters is currently in her 34th year of teaching. That's long and amazing years to serve the industry. And she has been doing in the same university for the last 34 years. She has been involved in judging the presentations about poultry to our youth and small producers her entire career. Dr. Bonnie, today we're going to learn about some backyard poultry, isn't it?
Yes, it's become a very big piece of agriculture, even though we don't, as large commercial producers, it's very different. And the perspective has become very different over the years as well.
Right. And so far, I remember we've not talked anything about the backyard poultry and even the production side of the backyard poultry and how common, what are some of the common breeds. So I'm very excited today talk about and maybe educate our listeners and audience about what is there and if you can share some experience and expertise in this area. So going to I'm just curious how to select these birds that will meet your needs. So how do we select this bird?
So one of the key things that I tell families that want to start out raising their birds is a little bit of education on, does it matter? Because one of the big things is, brown eggs are better for me than white eggs. Well, the eggs are all the same. If you feed them the same diet, a white egg is the same as a brown egg, the same as a green egg or a blue egg or whatever color. And so if egg color is important to you, then you need to look at a certain set of birds. If it doesn't matter and production level is more important, then we need to look at a different set of birds. If you have youth and they want to show the birds like at a county fair, then maybe you want to look at some different ones because you want to have pretty birds. If that's your factor, that you want nice pretty birds running around or in your coop, that can be a factor. And temperament of the birds. People don't really think about chickens as having different temperaments, but they're just like anything else. I mean, a dog, you have different temperaments. Chickens have different temperaments as well.
Yeah.
And so with small children, certain birds are much better than others. They're just calmer and more manageable and docile than some of the other breeds. And so those are some of the factors that really start to make a point of discussion to help people make a decision.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point because when you talk about backyard poultry, it's not just the one need, right? I mean, you're talking about showing this chicken, you're talking about different other dual purpose and other stuff, right? So that's a very, very, very good point here. What do you think about then their need for housing? And that's going to also go together with the fooding, like feed. Do you have anything to say about? I'm sure there's a lot of variety and all this stuff, but can you just kind of brief us a little bit on that?
The housing is very different for somebody who's at Mississippi, near Mississippi State, than up in Wisconsin. Not sure what the temperature for you is today, but we're down to like 5 degrees, and we're supposed to be minus 10 tomorrow morning, so we're kind of cold.
We're at 34 Fahrenheit, so it's pretty cold today.
Oh, that's a heat wave for us at this point in the year.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For us, and something people need to realize is that you can have your birds in the cold, but you just want to make sure they're outside of the wind. They do just fine in the cold. If you want to add in things to give them added heat, that's okay. Typically, they're fine if they stay inside the building or inside their coop. Um, and as long as you're giving them feed or a source of water, up where I am, we just got a whole bunch of snow. So it can be as effective to just put a pail of snow in and they'll eat the snow to get the water that they need, because if you pour water in 2 hours, it's all frozen if they haven't eaten it. So, one of the things that kind of connects that selection with your housing, if you're up by us, maybe selecting a bird that has a smaller comb size makes a lot more sense than a leghorn that's going to have a really tall comb. Or you're going to have to deal with the reality that the points on the comb are going to freeze off because they will get freezer burn and they'll lose the points on the comb. The birds are fine after that and can do just fine. But it's a matter of, aesthetics if that's an important thing.
Right. So you saw, so I'm sure then these birds that are either, that was in fact my another question, right? I mean, what are these common type? I mean, we don't have to write say a name in this episode, but I'm sure there's a different, even within the same breed, there are different types under that breed that would adapt in location like Wisconsin and Mississippi, right?
One of the breeds that is pretty popular with the people up here are Wyandottes.
Right.
Which they have a rose comb. The comb is usually smaller. You don't have as much freezer burn or issues with that. You can pick different varieties that are really pretty colored. They're very good dual purpose because they have meat, plus they're going to lay brown eggs. A lot of people like to have the brown egg. They just see that as more of a farm kind of egg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good selection for a number of ones that are planning to have them to show. The other thing that a lot of people up here, if you're not worried about your egg production, is to have some of the Asiatic breeds like Brahmas or Cochins that have feathered legs. And so then their legs are more protected because they have the feathers on the legs and their outer part of their toes. Those two breeds also are very docile, even though the standard variety get really large. They're still really docile. So I like those for families that have younger kids that want to handle the birds and be around them because they just aren't aggressive. Leghorns are just very, very flighty. And the Mediterranean ones that typically are high egg producers are typically more flighty and run around and are harder for younger kids to handle.
And when we talk about these birds, I mean, layers, me myself been working a lot with the commercial side, right? I mean, I have like zero to none idea about the backyard poultry. But what fascinates me about backyard poultry is that, we started back in the years from always a dual purpose, right? I mean, red jungle fowl and those stuff. So I think there's definitely, and we're going back, maybe, I mean, not so much, but, with the cage free and pasture raised, I mean, the concept a little bit more advanced, but a little bit on a larger side of the number that we can rear, but then at the farm setting versus a backyard, right? But that's always fascinates me, and we're going back almost, yeah.
It's very interesting because when I started 34 years ago, the youth that were involved in the poultry project typically would have 100, 200 birds maybe.
Right.
The common youth today have 5 because their city or their town will allow them to have 5 hens, and that's it. But then you have the ones who end up with 15 or 20 and they kind of try and hide them. And as long as their neighbors don't care, they get away with it. So it's kind of funny because it ends up being not just the kids who are really into it, the parents really get into it.
Right.
And so to me, it's become really something that the family is involved in when the kids join that project and they start to learn about all the different things that they can do. So educationally, I think it's a fantastic thing.
With science-led solutions that are sustainable, proven, and effective, the ASF helps you tackle the challenges of poultry nutrition. We offer high-quality feed ingredients that enable a more sustainable production and help you achieve your animal performance targets. We call it the science of sustainable feed that succeeds.
I agree. Yeah, that's awesome. So I know we talked about a little bit on the housing side for this bird, and maybe like just kind of wrap up again, this is a kind of short podcast, but I would like to kind of wrap up with one question. So what kind of food or feed are we talking about? Do they need any kind of supplements or treats as needed, or how do you all treat this bird? Or do you just get some prepackaged food from a Tractor Supply or a co-op or anything extra that you need for this backyard bird?
So typically, I would suggest you go to Tractor Supply or your farm feed store and you buy a balanced diet for your birds.
Right.
If it's for layer production, you can buy those. You can even buy the special layer diets that are omega-3 enhanced that give you healthier eggs. You can be happy that you're getting a healthier egg for yourself. You have to remember that the bird has a digestive system like you do. So you can't just say, here, go eat grass all day and expect them to be able to produce and grow. They're not really going to eat the grass. They're going to eat an awful lot of bugs, and they're going to dig around in all the manure to find the nutrients that they need. So if you can provide that, that's the best. What I find really funny, though, in your comment about Tractor Supply, I went in trying to find something that we could use to get rid of lice, which is pretty standard and easy thing to do. I couldn't find one, but I think I found like 15 different supplements that you can give your birds so that their feathers are shinier, or this is better, or this is better. If you have the balanced diet in the feed, you don't need all the other stuff. Do you want to give them treats? Go ahead if you want to, but they don't have to have treats. It's kind of like everything else. We can survive just fine without all the snacks and treats. But if it makes us feel better, it makes you connect better with your animal, go for it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a very good point. So all we need is a balanced diet, even for this backyard poultry, because then they would not be surviving all these grasses, right? That's excellent point. So just, I'm very, I'm hoping this episode will be very exciting, because we've been always doing in the commercial and nutrition side, but it was very nice to meet you and learn about some tips about the backyard poultry. Dr. Walters, thank you again for coming to our program. And is there anything that you want to share as a very last comment?
No, you're welcome. And I really enjoyed having the chance to chat with you.
Same with us and same with me. Thank you, Dr. Walters. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.